this thing that you're trying to do clearly isn't working, right? This either you're pushing yourself like a tyrant in the back of your head, or you're just making yourself feel stressed out. You don't want work to be associated with this extreme stress. You want the stress to be about the actual things you're working on, not the work itself, right? And for me, social media kind of acts as this way of separating myself from the moment. It kind of alleviates the stress for that brief second while I'm watching the videos, until about like 30 minutes in, where I realize I'm still watching a video, and then my gut feels this sinking, and I'm like, oh shoot, I'm doing it again, right? And I think that's how more ambitious people get addicted to social media. It's not necessarily the social media itself. It's just that it's almost like a break from our own minds. And the main antidote for that, and why I'm talking about that right now during, after I'm mentioning scheduling, is the thing I admire most about my aunt is nothing ever backs up with her. And what I mean by that is she always gets things done the moment that they come around, right? Let's say her fridge breaks. She'll be getting a new fridge within 10 minutes. Let's say she gets a bill that she has to pay. She'll pay it within that first moment that she gets the bill. She's not going to toss it onto the table. And I think after a little bit of thought, it's pretty simple. The tasks that we need to do are finite. They'll get done in a finite amount of time. Putting them off doesn't make them take less time. So really, all you're doing by doing them right away is you're decreasing the amount of stress that you have over getting the task done. And look, if you're one of those people who literally doesn't stress about it at all, go ahead, don't do it, whatever. But if you're more like me, who when you have to-do lists build up to the sky and you literally can't even remember all the things you have to do in your own head because it's so high, I think getting to the point where you literally can just immediately when you get that new to-do, you just get it done. You literally just do it. And for me, it takes a while to get to the point where I can just do it because you have a stacked up to-do list. So it just adds to the top of the stack. So just start with doing one extra thing per day that you wouldn't normally do that's on your to-do list. It'll wipe out within a couple of weeks max. And then you can just start really knocking things off. And having a schedule just helps so much because you're not using as much brain power, You're not forcibly having to understand exactly what you're going to do systematically. It's just on your computer, it's on a piece of paper. You don't even think about it until you see it, and then boom, you put full attention on that task. Right? This is kind of what Elon Musk does with his company. They sort of call it time blocking. You schedule each block of time, and you hyper-focus on that. And then when that's done, you change to the next thing, you hyper-focus on that. And the easiest way to get into a state of flow with each task that you want to do, right? Because the more complex your company gets, the more different type of tasks you're going to have to do, is to just eliminate all outside distractions, and just have those specific goals. That's why I'm a big fan of eliminating that negative sort of social media usage, and intentional living, right? Intentionally using social media for whatever way it benefits you, right? Like, let's say that is at the end of the night, you decide to turn it on for an hour. Fine, that's intentional. But what we want to eliminate is that random scrolling when you jump on the toilet, that too stressed out for a moment while you're trying to work, so you just pull up your phone. You know what I mean? That habit of not even noticing that you're doing it. But as you're going to see, a theme with this channel is there's really no pressure. It's not that big of a deal. If you find yourself doing that too often, it's okay. It's really okay. I mean, scarcity of time is like, it's like a virus. Believing that you don't have time makes it so you don't have time. this is something that I read in The Big Leap, and that's a book I really recommend. You don't have a scarcity of time, you have priorities. So if you decide to pull up your social media for 2 hours instead of getting work done, then you're prioritizing social media. And if you're a type of person that needs those breaks, that needs that type of rest, then you just have to admit that and then give it to yourself. Instead of, the people who sleep like 3 hours a night, but they end up falling asleep throughout the day 4 times. They don't admit that they need more sleep. They could just get more sleep at night and then they would actually be way more productive. It's for you, it's like you don't admit that you need that time to just focus on something else. So instead of being productive with your downtime and meditating or doing a sport or reading, you jump on social media because it's the only thing you have access to right now. So just becoming a little bit more intentional is another thing I really want to focus on and get better at. So that's one of the reasons I'm making these videos, is just to remind myself of this stuff. And I figured it would be helpful to bring some people along the way.